Pie and Pissed in 2 acts. One morning in 2003, after a night filled of sweet dreams, of cakes, cookies, and eclairs, I found myself at a local bakery, Just Desserts, eyeing their pies. I love pies. And they had the great selection: cranberry, apple, walnut, pecan, and my least favorite, coconut cream. I choose the coconut cream, and it comes in a handy 6-inch size. I also go across the street to the local stationery store and buy a notebook, something a reporter might use in interviewing somebody. You see, that morning, I had read in the Chronicle that a certain former presidential candidate, Ralph Nader, was to appear at a press conference at the Green Party headquarters in San Francisco. So with pie in hand, notebook in my back pocket, I head over to the Green Party headquarters. I sneak in to the party headquarters, no one asking for my reporter's ID, and take a seat. There, facing a variety of reporters and cameramen, sit Ralph Nader, Peter Cameo, and a host of Green Party officials making the case of why you should vote Green in the upcoming election against, I'll be back, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sitting there pretending to take notes and preparing a statement for when I get arrested, which I'm sure is going to happen. As the press conference winds down, I'm sitting there and I look over and I see a side door and I think, you know what? I might just be able to get out that side door and escape. So as it winds down, the press conference, I reach into my bag, pull out the cake, the pie, run up to Nader and right in his face and run out the door as fast as I've ever run in my entire life. I'm running down Harrison Street, and then I hear footsteps. I look back, and there's a big guy, a big young guy, running after me, and I go, holy shit, I'm not outrunning this guy. I consider myself pretty quick, but this guy is definitely faster, and the last thing I want to have happen is to be tackled and smashed into the street. So I pull up, and he hits me in the head. Boom! Knocks me to the ground. He's screaming at me, why did you pie my uncle? Your uncle. Turns out this guy is both Ralph Nader's security guy and, in fact, his nephew. And I went, well, because I and many other people hold your wonderful uncle responsible for the bogus election of George W. Bush. And he goes, oh, no, that has nothing to do with it. I said, in fact, at the time, Ralph Nader said the only difference between Al Gore and George W. Bush was the difference between Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I don't think so. As we know, Ralph Nader had his ideas, and this particular idea was, in fact, bogus. We've got George W. Bush, who gets us in 2 wars at a cost of millions of dollars, lots of lives, and Al Gore going on to win the Nobel Peace Prize for his environmental work and his movie. So he argues that we exchange a few more, and then he sees my Star of David necklace, and he goes, it's probably because you're Jewish and a Zionist. I go, what? Turns out that Mr. Nader is pro-Palestinian and Lebanese. And I went, no way. And then he says to me, I tell you what, you turn around and go this way, and I'll turn around and go that way. I was fine with that, as I was not interested in getting arrested for an assault with a semi-delicious weapon. So we turn around and we go our different ways. All the while I'm going, God damn it, the thing I wanted to do was to get, in fact, arrested maybe, and to, in fact, give them this statement. And the statement was going to be this: the attack on Ralph Nader was organized by the group known as PI, People Incensed with Egomania. And in fact, I'm going, oh my God, he's not even paying any attention to this thing. So in fact, what happens is I'm going very disappointed. I'm saying, oh, I really meant to deliver this statement, and it didn't happen. And I was disappointed. The next day, there's a picture in the Chronicle with Mr. Nader and a gooey pie dripping down his face. And they sort of made slight reference that perhaps this was carried off by people disappointed in the election of our wonderful President George W. Bush and the statement and what Mr. Nader was involved in spoiling that election. But here's the great thing about it. 3 years later, there's a film comes out about Ralph Nader called An Unreasonable Man. And in the film, they discuss Mr. Nader's great consumer advocacy, as well as they show this wonderful pie hitting Mr. Nader in the face, and they put it totally in reference to Ralph Nader as spoiler. And the best part of it all was, you never saw my face. Thanks very much. So I told the pie, this part, second part, pissed. A few weeks ago, I found myself at a medical supply store in Berkeley, looking at their canes and walking sticks. What I was looking for was something metal, something strong, and they had a great selection at this medical supply store. After looking at a number, I found this one. I said, this should do the trick. I waved it around a few times. Some of the employees sort of looked at me oddly. And then a week later, I found myself at the San Francisco Federal Building at 7th and Mission. This time, I kind of pretended to be an old, hobbled man. I walked into the Federal Building through the glass doors. On my right were the metal detectors and the security guards. On my left, behind a security tape, were pictures, big pictures, of Trump and Pence. As I hobbled in with my cane, one of the security guys asked me, where are you going? And I said, the courtroom. Then I ducked underneath the security tape, and as hard as I could, I whacked the picture of Trump. And before I could take another swing at Trump, because I was really determined, and maybe one at Pence, I was tackled by the 3 big security guards, who immediately handcuffed me, placed me on the bench, went through my pockets looking for weapons, no pie this time, checked my ID, ran that through the computer, and after they found nothing, they gave me basically, they didn't arrest me, but what they did do was they gave me a citation for trespassing and failure to follow official rules. They released me, and I was given a fine of $150 for this fine. So a few weeks ago, I mailed in that $150 fine with the following statement. I said to them, I said, the attack on the pictures of fascist Trump and Pence were carried off by the group known as PIST, People incensed at shithole Trump. And that's most of the story. However, I have a slight ending to it, which is that I elected myself as president of PIST. And I'm actually looking for other people to join in this cause. If you're interested in delivering pies to special people or other actions, please contact me. And also, if you're as pissed as I am with Trump and Pence, I encourage you to go to swingleft.com, needtoimpeach.org. And finally, I'd like to say this. Ever since the election of Trump, I've been sleeping like a baby. I wake up every 2 hours crying. Thanks very much.